Go live. It's your birthday. All right. And we will bring up Facebook and share that thing somehow. If I can spell Facebook. Dun da da da. Technorama podcast.
It hasn't shown up there yet.
Not showing up yet. 3, 2, 1. There we go. And we both have that dazed and confused look on our face again.
Yeah, like always.
Well, that's pretty much the show. So welcome. Dazed and confused look again? Question mark.
Okay, so I pulled up Facebook and there's it's a Blade Runner movie poster,
Yes.
but it's got Carl from Sling Blade on there.
I
So
knew you were somehow
it
going to
says
combine
says-
those.
It says Sling Blade Runner.
As soon as you said Blade Runner, my mind went to Sling Blade. I thought, what would happen if you cross those two? It's really bizarre how we.
I'm gonna clip that image. I gotta say that one.
All righty.
All right, Dan.
You do that.
Where is the? Oh, that's all right. I don't see it to share it yet.
All right. Nobody's joined us yet, but we'll begin anyway.
There it is. Let me go ahead and share it. Now I got it. All right. Yeah, you're picking at your eye, and I'm laughing at something. That's the thumbnail I see.
Oh, I got like dazed and confused look on our face. Maybe they updated it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to worry about it. There's something in my left eye that's bothering me.
Maybe you scratched it.
No, it's just like half an eyelash or something. All right. Shall we begin?
Why? Yes. Let's do that.
There we go. 3, 2. I'm going to record it on both again. 3, 2, 1. Technorama episode 752. This is just fan fiction. Well, hello and welcome to Technorama, the show that takes a lighthearted look at tech, science, sci-fi, and all things geek. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome. Welcome to episode 752. We've been around a while. I'm sure you've been around a while. And so have many of our other listeners who are returning. Welcome back to you.
Hey,
I am Chuck. Yes?
some people say we've been around too long, but I'm going to keep going.
You need to wait for your introduction. You see how this works?
Okay. Sorry.
I'm Chuck Tomasi from sunny Phoenix, Arizona, and over there battling wild bears and whatever in the woods is Craig Stepp. How are you, Craig?
I'm doing well. Yeah, I said some people say we've been around too long, but
Yeah, like The Simpsons.
like the Simpsons. Maybe a little bit.
There's the dog in the neighbor's yard.
I know. Yeah. What can I do about it?
Well, we are only days away from Dragon Con. And by the time this comes out, we'll be on our way to Dragon Con. So
I know. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Which means we won't have a show for the next couple of weeks, but that's okay. Stick around with us. We will be back. And Craig and I have a list of like business topics we need to talk about, like the whole Patreon thing and t-shirt design.
This is a business meeting?
Yes.
Business trip?
This is our annual board meeting.
I see what happens. See, we talk about business a little bit, and then we can expense the whole trip.
Yes.
On the Technorama. I gotcha.
I wish. If we talk business, I'll buy you a beer. How's that?
Oh, well. All right. You got me.
Excuse me.
Twist my arm. Oh.
Okay. Let's get on with the feedback for the week. We have some stuff happening.
Letters. Oh, we get letters.
Real ones this time.
Yeah.
Mail today. Reach right in and pull one out. Those letters. I love those letters. Let's find out what you got to say.
Oh, boy.
Mailman. Mail today.
Well, our first piece of mail is a piece of mail. I have a postcard from Yorga.
Oh.
Actually, I got this a couple weeks ago, but I keep forgetting to put it on the show.
Nice. Very cool. Oh, no, I think you talked about one last week.
He said, nope. It says, well, in German, I believe, greetings from Winterberg. Meet Hollenberg. It's got a picture of a cow, a sheep, a goat, a church, two people looking off into a sunny valley, foggy sunset thing.
Yeah,
Oh, nice pictures. Nice pictures around the area. We'll have
that's
to
awesome.
visit sometime.
Yeah.
And a stamp from Deutschland.
Ooh.
Ooh. Greetings from Germany, Martine and Yorga. Okay. And we are about to send out our Dragon Con ones.
That's
So,
right.
got some messages from people. There were a couple of address corrections. Thank you very much for that. If you get
Hey,
this in time,
I've
and
been practicing my writing.
all you gotta
motion.
do is sign your name.
Yeah, I don't do that every day.
Oh. It's not that difficult. I can sign it for you if you want.
I'm sure you could.
All right. Well, we hope to have those postmarked from Atlanta this year. I'm bringing the cards. I'm bringing the stamps. I'm bringing the pen so Craig can write his name. We'll even bring a scrap piece of paper so he can practice in case he forgot.
Oh, yeah. Like there's no stationery around. I can try on.
You can practice on your e-ink tablet over and over and over again.
I do write on that a good bit. So, yes.
Okay, yeah, so do I. Well, I don't write on yours. I write on mine. I did find something interesting. A quick side note about the Remarkable tablet. Someone has created an app on the Mac, Windows is coming, that will generate a PDF, much like recalendar.me. It generates a PDF and you can
Yep.
configure it to say, I want weekends and whatever.
Yeah.
The starting day, right-handed or left-handed, blah, blah, blah. And it will generate the PDF. And when you upload it, it also syncs your Google Calendar and Outlook calendar appointments into this. So your planner has the calendar dates on it. You go, well, that's
Really?
all fine and dandy until tomorrow. But you can resync it and it will keep all of the strokes and writing that you write on the planner. It will
Right.
keep them where they were. So I think that's pretty sweet. I don't know what happens if you take the PDF. It's like an in-place replacement, but it
Right.
remembers all those. It has
Okay.
to do with the way that Remarkable stores the strokes and drawings and words and whatever that you write
Right.
separate from the actual PDF file. It's almost like a layer or an overlay or that kind of thing. I went, that's pretty ingenious that they thought that up. So I may do that after we get back from Dragon Con. I'll take a look at that. It's $27 US, but I figure and it's a one-time thing. It's not even a subscription.
Oh. Yeah. I'm getting to where I hate subscriptions, man. They're all over the place.
And they add up fast.
Yeah,
And
they do.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
since you're retiring soon, you're going to be on a fixed income. So
yeah, I am scrutinizing things like that. Like,
yeah.
do I really need Evernote, especially when they're gouging their customers for a price hike when I really don't use it any more than I did for the last 10 years?
We might talk about this on the Patreon show, but
Sure.
yeah, I paid the price hike last time for Evernote. Don't think I'm gonna do it again. I like where they're going, but with the app, but at the same time, there's so many good alternatives out there.
Yeah.
And I think I'm gonna stick with Obsidian.
I looked at Obsidian, but it was a 2-step process to migrate, and I like the multi-platform and being able to invite somebody to Notion a little bit better.
I like Notion, but there's no offline. That's the only problem.
There is.
I don't know. Is there?
There is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that, but I'll go. I have to look. I haven't messed with it in a long time.
Yep.
But that was my problem with. To be honest with you, I remember one time I turned off the Wi-Fi and I was getting nothing. I was like, "Oh, this isn't good." I don't know if I like totally being dependent on a connection. But Obsidian.
in reality, how often are you really disconnected? Maybe on a cruise. Even then, you could still buy the Wi-Fi. But when are you ever out of signal?
Well, the thing about Obsidian, it's offline first and security first. So
right,
it's on
but
your
then
device.
you are responsible to sync it between the other devices. That's what I don't like. Like,
I did pay for the syncing, which is
now you're paying for a subscription.
But I'm also supporting them a little bit. They do some really good stuff.
Right. I'm not saying it's a bad tool. I look at it like the Emacs of note taking. It's
Mhm.
you can throw the kitchen sink at it and make it do a lot of things with the different plugins and extensions.
Yeah, I do
But
try to limit myself
that's a
on.
little too over. I really need to understand what my lifestyle is, what my daily and weekly routines are going to be before
Mhm.
I do a tool selection. So I need to look at my requirements a little different. It's going to be changing. So I'm not going to make any decisions today that I could regret in 3 months.
Yeah, see, there you go. Kyle says he syncs his Obsidian with Dropbox. I know a lot of people do that. Yeah,
Yeah. Some
that's
people do it with GitHub. Yeah.
yeah. Dropbox is really good at syncing and being available offline. Like uh, OneNote, Office 365.
Mhm.
They don't do that, and neither does Google. So it's kind of harder to sync with those services. But Dropbox is really good, and
Yep.
I just paid for the Obsidian Sync, and it's super solid. I have not had an issue with it at all.
Once again, Craig and I will give you differing opinions on different products. So if you go with Obsidian and I take Notion, we'll have a
Well,
broader spectrum of
there's two opinions, but one of them's right all the time.
yeah, mine.
Thanks,
Truth is
Paul.
in the eye of the beholder? No, wait.
Yeah, I do. Well, I do like Obsidian because it is a little bit on the nerdy side. It can be, with some queries and stuff, but at the same time, it can be very simple. So I like them. I like it both ways.
My days of exploring the nerdy stuff are starting to wane. Just give me something that works.
I know.
And if it's extensible later, cool. I did my entire songbook in VS Code in Markdown because I can generate a PDF easily. That way
Yeah.
I can import, but I already understood that platform and what it gave to me. Now I am kind of crushing it a little bit. It's not
Right.
meant to, you're not meant to work on 40,000 line files in VS Code.
No. No, not
It starts
exactly.
to
Yeah.
bog down. It's funny because I'll go, oh wait, I need to change this G to an E. So I'll
They.
hit backspace and it takes like
Yeah.
3 to 4 seconds before that backspace goes. And if
So
you type your character, because we're used to going backspace, E, and then move on.
yeah.
Well, it types the E first, then later the backspace comes and erases the E, and you're still left with the G. Going, well, that didn't work.
Yeah. But no. When I can see it now, you're gonna be asking Donna for a memory upgrade just so you can edit your file.
No, it's not the memory, it's VS Code, and it wasn't meant to work on files that big.
No, not really. I've opened some too big files with just VI before, and I was like, "What's taking so long?" I went, "Oh, I opened a gig file. Oops."
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, let's get on to the question of the week. We asked you last week if you could have one fictional character as a why did it stop? Oh, as a pet, which one would you choose? And Lone Guys Night says, well, that's a loaded question. The Shmoo.
The Shmoo. I hadn't thought about the Shmoo in a long time. That's pretty funny.
Me neither.
That's funny.
Good
John
for
Clifford.
you.
John Clifford said, "I'm not much of a pet person. If I had one, it would have to be quiet and clean up after itself.
Good
I
idea.
would like that too. Please, feel free to train my cat."
Fritz Ulrich Stewart says Pikachu. I don't know.
Pikachu.
Seems a little wild.
Hey, we save you on your electric bill.
Yeah. Till he evolves into Raichu or something.
Right. Our buddy Mark Kilfoyle says there's a species of psychic big riding cats, tiger or panther like, but gigantic, from the Sword and the Sandal series. Get the Gandalera cycle that I read when I was young, and that has always fascinated me. They essentially bonded with their riders, as I recall. Not exactly a pet, I suppose, but closer to a mutual companionship.
Hmm.
That's
Like
interesting.
the things on Pandora.
Yeah, right.
No, you can't ride them. Mark also writes, I mean, Appa from the Avatar series is a pretty good choice too. Wow.
Yeah.
I did not read that comment first.
Hmm.
Can't leave out the gigantic 6-legged flying fuzzball air buffalo. Was that Never Ending Story?
I think so. I think that's what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Kyle Nishioka, he says, I think I'd like a fail whale as a pet. Okay. If that's not a real fantasy animal, I'd go with a sandworm, the kind from Dune, not Beetlejuice. I was thinking of the one from Tremors, but okay.
Sandworm from Dune as a pet. Interesting. Steve London says a niffler, no question asked, and a Balrog, just for the lols. Balrog is a pet.
That's pretty funny. Let's see. You had some comments. I don't think Gary Lindros wrote on mine and says Babblefish.
Hey, that's a good one.
That is a good one. Actually, it's practical.
I put a comment on mine when I shared it. I said, "Does Dobby from Harry Potter count as a pet?"
No, not unless you give him a piece of clothing,
Well, then he's free.
a sock. Well, yeah.
Yeah, Lone Guy's Nice says no. He counts either as a generational slave, beginning of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, a free elf, end of Chamber of Secrets, or a Hogwarts employee.
Employee.
Mike Wills also said no. He's a house elf. I want a dragon.
Oh boy. Yeah, but think of the food bill on that thing.
And yeah, and the fire extinguishers you'd have to buy when he gets a cold.
Yeah.
Chill.
Yeah.
House burned down again.
All right, honey, we got to buy a new house.
Maybe that's why the castles were made out of stone. Alrighty, that takes care of it for our feedback. We'll be back with another question at the end of the show. Stick around if you haven't left already.
Yeah.
On this day in history for August 28th, 2024. This is the 241st day of the year in the Gregorian calendar. There are 125 days remaining in 2024. It was on this date in 1565 that Pedro Menendez de Aviles sighted land near St. Augustine, Florida, and founded the oldest continuously occupied European established city in the continental United States. Holy crap, that's specific.
That is pretty specific. And August 28th.
Oh, wait, no, it's on the Atlantic, not the Pacific. Sorry.
Oh boy. August 28th, 1609, Henry Hudson discovered Delaware Bay.
Then why didn't they call that one Hudson Bay?
I know. Yeah. After they named it, they went, oh, missed opportunity.
I'll take the big one up in Canada.
Yeah.
On that same date in 1830, the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad's new Tom Thumb steam locomotive raced a horse-drawn car, presaging steam's role in U.S. railroads. They didn't say who won.
I think we can figure. I don't know who won. Okay. Sounds like I could see an Oscar movie out of that story.
Come on, train. Okay, keep going.
Coconuts out. Get the coconuts. It was also on this date in 1845 that the first issue of the Scientific American magazine was published. And if you ever tried to read some of those old ones, it's difficult.
It was written in hex.
Well, some of the words, the way the English was back then,
yes,
is a little different. So I remember trying to go. I was gleaning some of it from context. It was kind of hard to understand.
They're using characters that no longer exist in the alphabet. What's this AE thing that's smashed together?
Yeah.
Anyway, the Carrington event was the strongest geomagnetic storm on record to strike Earth. Electrical telegraph service was widely disrupted back in 1859. I'm sure all of our space fans have heard about that.
Yeah. It was on this date in 1898 that Caleb Bradham's discovered or beverage of Brad's drink was renamed a Pepsi Cola.
I think that's a great trivia question.
Brad's drink.
What was Pepsi Cola called before it was Pepsi Cola?
I know.
Brad's drink. Hey, whose is that?
Yeah.
It's fine.
Oh, that's Brad's drink. Don't touch
Also
it.
on August 28, 1937, Toyota Motors became an independent company.
Also today in 1993, NASA's Galileo probe performed a flyby of the asteroid 243 LDA.
Ida.
Is it Ida?
243 Ida.
Okay. Astronomers later discovered a moon, the first known asteroid moon, in pictures from the flyby, and its name is Dactyl.
Galileo Figaro.
Dactyl.
Oh, Dactyl.
Yeah.
August 28, 1999, the Russian space mission Soyuz TM-29 reached completion, ending nearly 10 years of continuous occupation, on the space station Mir as it approached the end of its life.
Yep. And it was also on this date in 2016 that the first experimental mission of ISRO's scramjet engine towards the realization of an air-breathing propulsion system, speaking of dragons as we had earlier, was successfully conducted from Statish Darwin Space Center, Shrikota. Yeah,
It's an air-breathing propulsion system.
Shrikota.
My scramjet is now fully operational.
Yeah.
Happy birthday goes out of the state to French mathematician and philosopher Antoine Augustin Carnot, born on this date in 1801.
Dutch American mathematician and economist, Nobel Prize laureate, Talion Koopmans was born 114 years ago today.
American author and illustrator Jack Kirby was born on this date in 1917.
And Godfrey Hounsfield, English biophysicist and engineer, Nobel Prize laureate, was born on that same date in 1919.
They need, you know how when you're knighted by the Queen, you become Sir something?
Yeah.
They need like a Nobel Prize title for these people. I don't know that all of them are doctors, but it would be some kind of title like that, I think. Instead of having to say Nobel Prize laureate.
I don't know what. Okay, well, listener, if you've got a suggestion, we'll pass it on. Let us
And
know.
be a little more original than just saying NPL. That's no
Yeah.
fun. John
No.
Herbert Chapman, the Canadian physicist and engineer, was born 103 years ago today.
And American atmospheric scientist Warren M. Washington is 88 today.
Happy birthday, Warren.
That's right.
English mathematician and academic John Kingman was born on this date in 1939.
And also on that same date in 1954, American geneticist, chemist, and engineer George M. Church.
British-Canadian actress and director Amanda Tapping. Colonel Major Captain Carter from Farscape. This is 59 today. Not Farscape, excuse me. Atlanta. SG.
Yeah. Also turning 56 today is Scottish actor and singer Billy Boyd and Hobbit.
Oh, the music is running out. Also born on the same date in 1969, American actor and comedian Jack Black.
And Swedish game designer and programmer Johan Andersson was born on this date in 1974.
Woohoo! Well, at least we got the birthdays and the history done. We'll do the rest of the birthdays in a sec.
All right.
Boom! Okay, listener birthdays, we're going to include a few that are going to happen while we are out for the next couple of weeks at Dragon Con and some personal vacation. We've got August 25th, David Grizzly Smith from Grizzly Growls podcast. I don't know if that podcast is still out there. Please let us know. August 27th, Chuck's Forgotten iPod. I forgot about that. I don't even remember which one it was.
Again, you forgot about it.
But it comes up every year. Thank you. August 30th, Maximilian Bjorsten from Stockholm, Sweden. Tim Downing on the 31st. As we look into September, we've got David Klempkin, Scott Tyler on the 2nd, Kyra Vega on the 4th. Happy birthday to all of you.
Yeah.
Patreon member Ben Vaughn on the 5th. On the 6th, we have 2. Brad Miller, who made this cool 3D printed thing that hangs on my mic boom and glows in the dark. And Susan Murph. I wonder if we'll see Susie this year. We haven't seen her in a long time.
I know. I was wondering about that. Yeah.
We used to have How to Grow Your Geek podcast, but all her geeks grew up. So now what is it? How to Grow Your Grand Geek podcast?
How to Get Your Geeks to Take Care of You as You Get Older podcast.
How to Retire Your Geek podcast?
Right. Yeah.
How to Get Your Geek Out of the House podcast?
Yeah.
Holy
That's
crap,
no
my
problem.
geek moved back in?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, Craig can start that one.
I know. He's in the other room.
Wait, you're outside. What other room is there?
Well, this is my room now.
You're not making any sense.
I should say he's in a room. I'm not.
September 10th, Anthony Warnock, and September 14th, Andrew Peters. We'll be back with more.
Wait, did you say Brad Miller?
Yes, I did on the 6th. I did those backwards, so Brad came first.
Okay. All right.
I got him. That's the way it was on this day in history for August 28th, 2024. If you want to get your name on the birthday calendar, well, you know where to go. If you haven't done so already, you go over to the birthday. Wow, why is this thing so slow? There we go. You go over to birthday calendar. No, that's the Patreon one. I should leave this to the professionals. There we go. chuckchat.com/birthday. And let us know when your birthday is. We'll give you a shout out at the appropriate time of year. If it's your birthday sometime in the next 3 weeks and we didn't call your name, we
Sorry.
wish you all the best. And hopefully you have a good birthday and many, many more. Let's do some good news, everyone.
Good news, everyone! Good news, everyone!
Oh, I forgot to fix the looping thing.
It's
Note
like
to self,
I can
fix
see
it.
Futurama. He walks in, says that, then he walks in again and says it again.
I've discovered a time loop. I've discovered a time loop. Fix soundbite loop.
Hey, speaking of loops, I think we've had this conversation a couple times about that.
I know. I wrote it down this time. It'll happen.
Okay.
It'll happen.
All right.
I didn't capture it last time. It just kind of went in one ear and out the other. It's hard to capture action items in the middle of a podcast, but there it is.
I know, right?
Alrighty. Where were we? Oh, I was thinking when he said good news, everyone, I thought, do I need to pack a Bible? Do I have room to pack a Bible for Dragon Con? So when I go down in the parade and I go, have you
There
heard
should
the
be one in the
news?
hotel room.
There isn't in our hotel.
Maybe
We had to
not.
borrow one from Amy last time.
Right.
Those Gideons are getting cheap. I got to talk to Thomas.
Yeah. I know.
Thomas, tell your family to get us some more Bibles.
That's right.
Sorry, that's an inside joke. Thomas Gideon used to run the podcast. Does he still do that? The Command Line podcast?
I don't think I've seen any action on that for a long time.
Our first Dragon Con, we roomed with him in the Marriott. So
yes,
wait
we
a minute.
did.
Wait a minute. We only need to stay at the Cortland Grand and the Hyatt, and we'll have stayed in all the hotels.
Right.
That doesn't sound like a good idea, does it?
No. Actually, no. It doesn't.
All right, let's get on with the good news article. We have an article from Mashable.com that did a very interesting image of Polaris, the North Star.
Yes.
The title says, new image shows North Star is changing and it has spots. Which, I know it's changing because of precession. We won't always be pointing at the North Star because the Earth wobbles at about, 26,000 years. It makes this circle.
Yep.
The wobbling top. And right now, Polaris is the North Star. But what was it? About 8,000 years ago, it was Vega. Or maybe in 8,000 years, it will be Vega again. I forgot which way it goes. But we do cross paths with that. So if you're around, use that. But what they did is they aimed an array of telescopes. The Center for High Angular Resolution Astronomy, or the CHARA array, at the star. And what this did is it gave them an effective telescope of the size of 330 meters or 1,082 feet. That's a big telescope.
Yeah.
And they
is.
captured a series of images on this, which, it's kind of pixelated, but you have to remember that this thing is 1/600,000th the brightness of the moon.
It looks like the Minecraft world.
It kind of looks like the Minecraft star. It's got dark patches. It's got light patches. And if you use a little pareidolia, you might even get a guy with a mustache out of
Or
there.
Squint.
It's a pumpkin. It's an angry pumpkin.
Hey, squint, and it looks
It's an angry pumpkin.
angry pumpkin. Yeah.
But what I didn't know is that it's a Cepheid variable. Now, our astronomy buffs will know Cepheid variables are used to measure distance in the in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
They were discovered a while ago. I didn't know that it was changing in intensity. So
It said it changes. It grows and shrinks.
well, no, not the size of it. The size of it is, what did they say? 5 times.
Oh,
Three times the mass of our own sun.
yes.
And it's 46 times wider, 5 times more massive than our medium-sized sun, and 46 times wider. That's
Yeah,
a
it's
big
like-
star.
Yeah.
Really far away. So pretty cool stuff. Continue to learn things. Dr. Pamela Gay got her PhD on Cepheid variables, if I recall right. Jorge can back me up on that one. He's still listening to
really?
Astronomy Cast as well.
Yeah.
They're on summer hiatus right now. But the image that they show, I'm going to share this on the screen for those that are watching the live stream. Present, share screen, this one. Okay, and you can see our angry pumpkin picture. Now, note it's got an XY on it, and it
Yep.
says on the x-axis is east, left, and in parentheses, MAS. And on the left side, it says up, north. And it ranges from minus 2.0 to positive 2.0. What I don't understand is it's the North Star. What exactly is north for the North Star? If you're looking straight up, which way is north? You're standing at the North Pole and you look straight up. Every direction at that point is south, by the way.
Yes.
And how do you say it's and you've got this round dot above you? Who's to say which way is north for that star?
I think somebody said that a long time ago. I have no
don't
idea.
understand. If you look closely though, it's 0, 0 is in the middle of the star, so it's just giving you a coordinate.
It sounds like you need to call in Astronomy Cast with a question.
It's I did resolve it. It's because 0, 0 is in the middle. You're just basically giving it a Cartesian coordinate system.
Is that what the old?
The first thing I said is that's an
Hey.
odd thing to put on the y-axis, north up.
Hey, I think what you just said was what the old ship captains thought. Oh yeah,
It's north.
0, 0.
There
yeah.
it is.
Yeah, it's right there. It's always
Steer
there.
that way. All right. So we learned a little bit about Polaris. It is oscillating in its intensity. It's a Cepheid variable, and hopefully we can get some sharper images. I wonder if they could like point JWST at it or something and learn something more.
Sure they could.
Let's do that next week.
Well, we'll book some time on the Webb telescope and do it.
I'll just hack in.
Heck
I'm
yeah.
not doing anything in retirement. I'll just take over some telescopes.
Right.
All right, quick shout out to the chat room. We've got a few people commenting over there.
Yeah.
Let me flip back to the right browser tab. Kyle is out there. Mike Robinson and Clinton. Hello, everybody. Nobel winner title rich? I don't know. You get a whole lot of money for being a Nobel Prize winner. Maybe on the speaking circuit you do.
I thought they get, was it $100,000?
Yeah. That's
Hey,
a
that's
nice
money.
stipend. Yeah. That'll pay for the drink package on the next cruise.
Yeah. I was trying to figure out how much it was. Let's see. Go ahead. Name off everybody that's here.
All right. I did. Mike, Clint, Kyle. That's all I see in the chat right now. But if you're hanging out with us, make yourself known. If you'd rather not, welcome to the show. Invite a friend next time, and then you can chat. See how that works?
That's right.
We hang out on Sundays at 8:30 Eastern time. Love to see you there. As I mentioned, we got a couple of weeks off coming up for Dragon Con and whatnot. Yes.
All right. So as of 2023, each Nobel Prize winner receives a monetary award of 11 million Swedish krona, which is approximately $1,035,000 US.
That Corona was a Mexican beer and the Swedish money. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Did you know in Japanese, you know what arigato means?
Arigato. Thank you.
Yes. Do you know what arigato means in Spanish?
What?
My cat's name is Ari.
Oh yeah. I see.
I
Hilarious.
borrowed that from a comedian. All right, I'll admit it. I thought it was funny.
You
I
can
laughed
tell.
out loud when I heard
You
that.
can tell you're a dad.
That is some good dad humor. All right, let's go to the Remember When segment before we get in trouble.
Yeah.
We still have a few people watching live and listening later.
Too late.
We learned a little bit about the dinosaur killer asteroid that came along.
Yeah.
The one that's hanging out in Mexico. Well, actually, there's nothing really left of it. But the Chicxulub crater and the Chicxulub impact from 66 million years ago. I don't know what year we changed from 65 million to 66 million. We must have got a little better dating mechanism because all I see now is everybody says 66 million years ago. Maybe,
They rounded up.
or it was 65,999 and 52 weeks and 6 days, like on October 30th last year. They went, there it is. We're now at 66 million. We've been waiting for that.
Right.
Okay. Well, what they did is they discovered where it came from based on the fragments. So this thing impacted, blew a whole bunch of debris into space, scattered all over the Earth. And that's how they discovered this layer of iridium, which is not a common element on the Earth. But they also found an element called, starts with an R. What was it?
Oh,
I'm looking.
I was hoping you were going to say vibranium.
No. Started with an R. I'm looking for it. I can't find it fast enough. Vice published Thursday. I had it. I read it.
Yeah,
2020 added another million years to everything. Yes, totally.
it felt like it, didn't it?
It messed up our ability to date anything.
I think in 2020 it felt like a million years went by.
Ruthenium. That's it. They said maybe it was a comet. They said no, because comets don't have ruthenium in it. And although it's not totally out of the question, they just says highly unlikely.
They dismissed it.
They did a little research on this, and they said it came from the far reaches of our solar system. Unlike most asteroids that have struck Earth, a new study reveals that researchers in Europe and the US have discovered the dino-killing asteroid formed beyond the orbit of Jupiter in an extremely cold region and was rich in water and carbon. Because most of the stuff you find like in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter is dry because the sun kind of vaporizes whatever's there. They said this thing impacted, it had these elements, and we can pretty much tell what it was made of and where it came from. So I thought that was kind of cool. We're getting a little more insights to our history. They said, the researchers said that of all the cosmic bodies they have studied and struck Earth in the last 500 million years, only the one that exterminated the dinosaurs was a water-rich asteroid.
Hey, you know how they figured that out? They stood on the remnants of the asteroid, looked up at the North Star, and went, that's where it came from.
No, I don't think so. The dinosaurs went, hey, where's the North Star?
I can't see a thing.
You get dust in your contacts, Larry?
It's like, what was it? The Far Side, where the two dinosaurs, one of them was smoking. You know that thing's going to kill you.
Wasn't the caption of that one what really happened to the dinosaurs?
Yeah, something like that. That's right.
Okay, we've got another story in the Remember When that AI has rendered the face of Jesus from the Shroud of Turin. And of course, the debate rages on.
Of course.
So artificial intelligence has recreated the face of Jesus Christ from a piece of cloth that some believe was used to wrap him after his crucifixion. So the Shroud of Turin has this ghostly image on it. Many believe it was almost like burned into the fabric itself.
Yes.
When Jesus died and was resurrected. And oddly, this cloth doesn't have any documentation prior to the year 1300. So many people are saying it was a hoax. So what they did is they fed the imagery into an AI engine and said, make a face out of this.
Well, you could do that with a lot of things, but okay.
Oddly, it drew his face with the eyes open. If he was dead, he probably wouldn't have his eyes open. And you can't really tell from the images that we've been shown of the Shroud of Turin whether his eyes were open or closed, but I suspect they were closed.
Yes.
But AI wanted to show it open. It did render scars and gashes and, injuries on his face and head. So it even like lashes on his back. It's, seeing his face is, we don't know what Jesus looked like originally, but we all have this image in our mind of the long dark hair, the beard, the kind of longer face.
That's the way it's been depicted in a lot of.
That's the way it's been depicted, and this is exactly what that looks like because that's what the shroud looks like. But is that? I mean, I'm trying to figure out if that's regional appropriate. Is that what people in that area looked like at that time? Yeah. I don't know. I don't know enough to say yes, no. I mean, if you look at this guy in the eyes and you go, yeah, I could see him walking around,
here,
the Middle East.
Well, to be honest with you, it looks like he could be hanging around here too.
Yeah, I think I saw him at the airport.
at the airport.
We'll definitely see him in Dragon Con. I know he'll be there.
Yeah. Well, what I thought was interesting in this article was when they did the carbon dating on it originally.
Yes.
They said that there was actually some factors that weren't taken into account, and a lot of it has to do with some of the when you do the carbon dating. It says minerals such as limestone and there was other fibers,
There's like pollens and stuff in there too.
pollens in there that can affect the carbon dating and actually throw it off. I was like, oh, really? So this they did another method using X-rays. And
Yes, this was called wide angle X-ray scattering.
Yeah.
And it's non-destructive because carbon dating, you take a little snippet of the cloth and then you have to destroy it to get all the information out of there. But the wide angle X-ray, you can actually scan it and share it with other people and go, hey, take a look. They said they claimed the fabric was a good match for similar sample that is confirmed to have come from the siege of Masada in Israel between 55 and 74 AD. So it's, according to what they tested, the cloth is period perfect.
Yeah, period accurate. I've always thought that I was always kind of fascinated with the Shroud of Turin since the first time I saw it when I was younger.
Yep.
It's like, what could this be? And of course everybody's trying to prove or disprove it, and it's just another one of those things that they'll be doing this long after we're gone, probably.
Oh yeah, and it's a statement that says, if you believe, you don't need proof.
Right.
That's the whole story of doubting Thomas. The others believed, they weren't there, but Thomas had to stick his fingers in his in Jesus'
in the light socket
wounds and go, oh, now I believe. And he goes, happy are those who believe, who have not seen and yet believe. So I don't know if this really changes anything, but it's kind of a cool.
Oh, I still find it fascinating for sure.
Yeah.
There you go. Was it Keith Richards?
Hey, wow, maybe he's old enough.
They could have been. I was going to say maybe Keith Richards when he was 13. Because now he's kind of his own shroud.
I remember years ago in church, the Sunday school kids were encouraged to write Jesus a birthday card for Christmas. And one kid writes, "Dear Jesus, I know how old you are."
Oh boy, that's funny. Do you? He's been doing research on the Shroud of Turin.
All you have to do is look at your calendar.
Yeah. Right.
All righty. Quick thank you to our patrons. They are the ones who make this show happen. Thank you to Alexis Duran, Amber Elstad, Amy Bowen, Abner Braverman, Ben Vaughn, Brian Brown. These people get postcards coming.
We can just hand them. We can hand some of them right to them.
Yes. We'll save some stampage. We're trying to be, reasonable with our funding. But although it's also nice to get a stamped and canceled message. Anyway, where was I? Chris Martinez, Chris MC, Dandy Mancoyer, Dean Jensen, Denise Inglis, Gary Lindros, thank you, John Clifford, John Noble, Yorga Shrawen, Crazy Joe, Kyle Nishioka, Leon, Mark Kilfoyle, Brad Miller, happy birthday, buddy, Mike Wills, Saturday Morning Media, Stephen Weshy, Steve Cody, Steve Therian, Steve Webb, Steve London, Tim Cook, and your name here. Bang, bang, bang. We'd love to have you join us. Go over to patreon.com/Technorama podcast. It's right there out of the corner of my left eye. I should be able to read that way. Or I should have it memorized by this time. For as little as $1 a show, we are going to have a discussion about what's happening with subscriptions and pay-per creation. Not paper, pay-per. That doesn't even work. Can't even fix that. But we'll have a talk about that and communicate that to our patrons as soon as we have come up with a plan and make sure everybody's in agreement, because you're part of the family that makes this show happen. Thank you. Thank you very much, all of you. They also get an extra show. What else did I miss? They get the Patreon content. They get some of the t-shirts.
Yeah.
Yep. Backstage concert tickets.
What? I went to our live show.
Our live show, right? When you go to Dragon Con, you get to hang out with us.
And you know what?
Great.
And you can meet Clinton as well. Well,
Our sidekick.
yeah, sidekick. Oh, by the way, Clinton was referring to the the Shroud of Turin.
He's our
It's actually a guy named Herb.
Herb. The Shroud of Herb. All right.
Herb.
While you're laughing, this
Yeah.
made me laugh as well.
Okay.
We have an article in the media corner.
Oh.
We must talk about this.
Welcome to Blockhead Video.
Hey, where can I find some good information about music and TV and videos and things?
Over here, in the media corner.
Hey, this story is just wrong.
This comedian named Adam Newman. He said I was reading the Jetsons wiki, the Jetsons, the cartoon from the 60s.
Yeah.
And he said it was like 40 pages long or something really ridiculous. And he said, in there, we all know the song, Meet George Jetson,
His boy
Elroy, daughter Judy, Jane, his wife. But then they went on to list the ages of these people. And it said, Jane, age 33. Okay, that's reasonable, sort of. And I went, wait a minute, the kids might be a little old for that. I went, Judy, age 16. And he said, now think about this. Those of you that did the quick math, that means Jane was 17 when Judy was born. And then you go on to read George, age, what was it, 40? 40, yeah. Which means he was 24 when Judy was born. And, aside from being, do a little more math, because that's the way babies go. You got to back up about 9 months. And Jane more than likely was 16.
Yeah.
So George hasn't been arrested for statutory yet, but if he had been, he was probably in prison, and Elroy might not even be his.
I know. I know. I was reading that, I was like, oh, that's crazy.
As soon as he started talking about this, going, if she's only 33, we are in serious trouble here.
I know. Actually, yeah, because he backed it up because he figured out, I didn't realize that the Jetsons takes place in 2060.
Yes, which means George is already alive. He's like 2 years old.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. So,
or 4 years old, whatever it would be. Yeah, it's
so wait a minute. So we can arrest him now for a future crime.
Right. I like that. Go arrest a 4-year-old, Craig. See how that works.
Minority Report all over again.
Look for a little boy named George Jetson. Which means we'll have flying cars before I'm 100. That's a good idea.
Yeah. Just in time. Right?
All right. Well, we already have self-driving cars. Do you trust those?
Hey,
we're going to put all the Looney Tunes in the sky.
I like how the guys at Hanna-Barbera didn't do the math right on all this.
Nope. Well, Mike Robinson figured it all out. He said they were all made in test tubes.
Yeah, right.
That solves that problem.
Yeah.
Except for the family resemblance. No, you still have family resemblance with IVF. Anyway, let's go on to Pastor in the Remote. I really haven't watched a whole lot that I haven't watched before. I'm watching the same YouTube channels with some new content.
Yeah.
And even going into some backlog content. I am almost done with The Foundation second season. Don and I are cruising rapidly through Ted Lasso season 2. So I'll give you a wrap up when those are wrapped. But I did start today watching The Acolyte on Disney Plus.
Yep. Yeah, I've seen it.
And I'm enjoying it. It takes place 100 years before the rise of the Empire. So you've got Jedi, but you've got all new characters. They did reference the Hutts. So apparently that's a long family of, is it a family or is it a race?
The Hutts weren't they like gangsters? They were like
I thought they were just a name for the worm, big fat worm creatures.
No, I think from what I understand is the Hutts is a bunch of gangsters. So there was like there's a different races and stuff that were part of it. I don't know. Is that
I'm looking at it like Smokey the Bear or Kermit the Frog. The last word kind of describes what they are.
right?
Jabba the Hutt. Jack the Ripper. No, wait, that didn't work.
Whoa. Yeah.
Space
Jabba-
Mafia.
Jabba the Hutt. I'm trying to. I just sort through all this, but
I'm enjoying it, but I'm predicting something that's going to happen, and I'm not going to say what it is because I don't want to spoil it for myself.
I rather enjoyed it. There's some really cool stuff in there. Again, I wouldn't spoil it for you. I'm not sure where you're at in it, but
Beginning of episode 2.
yeah, there's a lot of cool things. You go, whoa, I didn't expect that coming.
Yeah.
A lot of things you probably haven't seen before in a live action. I think it's pretty awesome.
So the story is there's this ex Jedi Padawan
Space Mafia. By the
supposedly
way.
left the order. Yeah, I already read that.
Yeah. Oh.
Left the order and is going around and killing other Jedi, which isn't good for the whole Jedi brand thing when one of your own is killing one of your own. So they're trying to track her down. And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
But it's got some good fight scenes.
Oh, yes, it does. Yes, it does.
So
I also like the art, the aesthetic of all the inside the spaceships. It
Yep.
looks like very 60s styling. Like if you made a spaceship, it looks like older than what you've seen in normal.
Well, yeah, it's 100 years prior.
That's what I'm saying. They tried to make it look a little older, and I liked some of that with a lot of tactile buttons and just the styling of some of the areas there are in the ships.
Yep.
I mean, Dwayne the Hutt Jackson.
Dwayne the Hutt Jackson.
That's right.
We should have there's got to be a site that gives you your Star Wars name with something like that.
Yeah. Actually, it says that he's a large slug-like crime lord of the Hutt species.
So Hutts are species. Okay.
I guess it's a species, yeah. Oh, it's species Hutt. There you go.
Yep. I
Yep.
was right.
My bad.
Okay. No, that's all right. Because why would you say, Craig the Step? That kind of messes up your family name with
Yeah.
anyway. Although that could be used in other cultures as well. Anyway, I'm off track. The Geek Library, one quick thing to mention in here. So we have a video in the Geek Library about a battery technology that is from a company called CATL. Apparently there's this energy show conference, something every year. LG was there.
Cattle.
CATL was there. And they're coming up with not just the kind of things you put on your Tesla Powerwall batteries, but these are more for like substation backups, which they just spent about 6 months a couple of blocks away from my house replacing one of these things. The road was closed for like 6 months. They just opened it in the last week. I was
Really?
up in the morning walk going, holy doodles, Greenway's open. That's nice. And back there is this school bus size block of stuff and apparently some propane tanks to keep it running. So it looks like it's a giant size neighborhood UPS.
Oh, really? Are they trying to smooth out like brownouts and power?
Must be. That's what I figure. So
All right.
that's kind of cool.
You didn't go up there and interview the guy with the microphone?
No, they had a fence and everything, and it was
Yeah.
it was a big mess. And now they're done, so they're gone. But they did leave up next to the cinder block wall the what is it? Arizona State like the work laws,
Mhm.
labor laws. That's what it is. The labor laws. They left, and it is just this
Eye chart?
enormous sign of microprint.
Yeah, like an
I
big
really
eye
want
chart.
to take a picture of it to read closer, except I don't think the resolution of my camera would get all the letters. So I'd
Yeah.
take multiple mosaic pictures and put it together. But
Right.
I'm curious, what are the labor laws and what do they say? Does anybody read this? It must be just some law that public.
Hey, it's like you worked in a place before where, like, in the break room, they had all the state
Uh-huh.
laws and stuff. Well, this
Uh-huh. Oh, this
I don't think I've ever
dwarfs
read any of those.
anything like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I might have to put one up in the podcast studio.
Right. Get ChatGPT to make you some labor laws in your room.
We saw what people who are at DragonCon or maybe listening later if we can capture the audio, they'll find out what ChatGPT can do for us.
Oh yeah. Oh
We got
yeah.
a couple of AI generated bits in our sketches.
That's right.
So, interesting stuff. He goes through a lot of different battery technologies. Most of us are, of course, familiar with lithium ion, the the positives and negatives about that. But the real thing this was doing is they said, you get a new laptop and you go, oh, yeah, I got 18 hours of battery life out of this thing. And in about 3 years, you're going, I got about 6 hours of battery life out of
Yeah.
this thing because
Yeah.
batteries degrade. He said, after 5 years, this new battery technology doesn't degrade. Like, ooh,
Yeah. See, that's amazing.
speak on. Now, right now, it's not really intended for the consumer market, but who's to say?
Yeah. Now, that sounds promising. Imagine, your phone battery just working, continuously. That'd be awesome.
Right. It would
Ah,
also
it's
save
great.
on. He was also saying that these new
E-waste.
technologies, right, e-waste and the safety of that e-waste, because right now cobalt is a major player in some of these battery technologies, and it's expensive because it all comes from the Central African
Yeah.
Congo Republic, which has its own labor laws issues.
They got
And
they got signs posted for that.
no, they don't. They're all in the mud.
No.
But cobalt is also expensive and not good for the environment. So this would solve a number of problems, or at least reduce a number of problems.
Yeah.
So pretty cool stuff. Thanks for that story. That
Yeah.
brings us to the end.
What?
Yeah, right on time. Our question of the week for next time, which will be in a few weeks, so you got plenty of time to dwell on this, or at least bat it around with ChatGPT. What time travel? No, you traveled to the year 2124 for only 10 minutes, and you're allowed to make one Google search. What is it?
What is Google?
I was going to say, what the hell happened to Google?
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be around in 100 years, but
No.
we'll see what happens.
You never know.
I don't think it
Hey.
will be.
Do a vanity search. Look for your own name. What happened? What happened to me?
What happened to my family? Yeah. Paul Peter says, damn, why does
What?
Chuck look like he pulls? No, let's not read that comment on the air, but
No.
yeah, we're going to be deleting that one. Can you do that from here? Yeah, thanks. Lottery numbers. That's what Mike wants.
Yeah. All right.
Cool. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We will be back in 3 weeks. We've got a DragonCon weekend, and then I got a personal weekend, which I believe will be the 15th is when we'll be returning, 15th of September. We'll talk to you again. Hopefully you can mark that on your calendar. We'll see you there. Look for us wherever you find all the other social media stuff. Technorama Podcast. We're going to be out of here. We're going to have fun. We're going to send you Patreon patrons your postcards. Whoops, I played the short one. No, let's go back to the long one. There we go. We're going to send the Patreon people their postcards. There's an alliteration.
Yeah.
Patreon people postcards. Whew. I can talk much
Say
today.
that 3 times fast.
If you want to get in touch with us, there's always the listener line. I just had to call it because as nobody's used this in 6 months, please use it or lose it. 707-530-2428. We'd love to hear from you. Or send us an email. Where's my banner, Craig? Come on, I'm going through the shtick. Wake up!
Not that. That's because you can't remember the phone number.
707-530-2428. Sorry, I was reading another comment. Till next time, tell a friend about Technorama, and Craig's going to give us a binary high five.
All right, 101.
Thanks, everybody. Take care. Bye.
Here we go.
Nice. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us on the live stream. We're going to sign out. We're going to record the Patreon show and talk to you real soon.
All right.
Bye.